Welcome to the Papa Report, the show that's dedicated to educating and empowering you so that you can live a stress-free retirement. I'm your host, Kristen Oakley, and I am here with the star of the show, John Papa. He is the president of Diversified Planning Strategies Advisors. John, I'm so excited to be back with you.
I'm so excited, Kristen. Another great show. Every week we have great shows, a lot of great topics. There's so much going on in the economy, in the world right now. There's a lot of things to talk about.
Well, and I know you've been so busy because people are watching the show and they're booking their appointments and coming in to meet with you. So you even have appointments, I think, even after the show today.
I have a Zoom call tonight with a couple from Staten Island, I think.
Okay, awesome.
So it's pretty cool, pretty exciting.
Wow. Well, you know, it's interesting, John, because I think some folks talk about retirement planning and they think, I'm going to just put it off, right? Like, I don't need to go down that road. I don't need to meet with a financial advisor until I'm nearing retirement. But today's show is all about situations that you might not be aware of in your life that would cause you to probably need the advice from a financial professional such as yourself.
No, exactly, Kristen. In fact, you know, Vanguard, the company that is big on do-it-yourself investing, did a study in a survey, and they actually tracked a $500,000 investment for 25 years by somebody who was self-directing, managing it themselves.
Right, the do-it-yourself investor.
The do-it-yourself investor, right? And Vanguard's the king of that. They want to be the do-it-yourselfer. And at the end of 25 years, that person had $1.6 million. And then they tracked somebody who was working with a financial advisor. Same $500,000, same time frame. The person with the financial advisor had $3.4 million, okay? Because you're getting specialized service and design and implementation, changes in your portfolio, advice on when to move, you know, a rising interest rate environment. I need to have short-term fixed income positions, not long-term fixed income positions. So by having a financial advisor is going to help you with that. You're going to do better over time in your portfolio. So there are a lot of reasons right now why you should consult with a financial advisor.
Well, and it's interesting because on that study too, one of the reasons why the performance was better was from the behavioral coaching that financial advisors were able to give their clients. And I think that just speaks to the fact that sometimes we're just too close to our own stuff. Right. You
make panic decisions, panic and emotional decisions, right? So our motto, we talk about educate and empower people to make better decisions with their hard-earned money. It's so that they don't make panic decisions.
Exactly.
When you make panic or emotional decisions in your investments, you're set up for failure.
Absolutely.
You're not going to be around for the market rebounds. You're going to miss returns in the portfolio. So part of our job is to educate you so that you don't make panic decisions or emotional decisions. That has to be out of your vocabulary when you're talking about your finances. Other things, it's great to make an emotional decision, not with your finances.
For sure. Well, let's start off by talking about some of the situations that our viewers might be going through, which would cause them to want to meet with a financial advisor. And, you know, one of the things I'm seeing every time I open LinkedIn within the last couple months, just mass layoffs. I mean, we had the shocking news of Goldman Sachs preparing to lay off 8% of their workforce.
Goldman Sachs.
The
gold standard of investment banking and are laying off 8% of their employees.
That's 4,000 positions globally. Just to put that in perspective, you know, I had a dear friend who texted me a couple weeks ago. Their company did another mass layoff, the 4th mass layoff they've had in the last 2 years, laid off 100 people in a day, completely unexpected. And so let's talk about that. If you are facing, you know, a job change or you experience a job loss, how can a financial advisor serve you during that critical time?
That's a great question, Kristen. And if you think about it, we deal with people who are getting older in their life, right? They're 50 years old, 55 years old. They're not planning to retire. They're getting let go for cheaper, less expensive, younger employees. And people are getting let go for that reason, okay? And one other reason could be healthcare. I'm seeing clients in my office all the time that don't want to be retired, but were forced to be retired, you know? We had 4 different people come into our office off these shows in the last 2 weeks that were let go, and now they're 58 years old, 62 years old, and have to go out and figure out, how am I going to find a job? Because I can't afford to be retired right now. So what are we going to do about that? What are we going to do with our assets? How do we create income between now and when I find my new job? They're on LinkedIn. But you know what it's like being a 62-year-old person on LinkedIn trying to find a job at the salary that you got let go at?
Yep.
Yeah, they'll take you for, 50% less than what you were making, but who can afford to do that? So
exactly.
that is a huge reason why you want to talk with a financial advisor, because they're going to help you design a plan that's going to create income now until you get your new job and figure that out. So that's a big reason why you want to consult with a financial advisor.
For sure.
That's one of them.
For sure. Well, John, on a personal note, I know years ago when I was very unexpectedly laid off, the first person I told was my husband. You want to know who the second person was I called?
Your financial
advisor.
Yeah.
And I was so freaked out, but I just knew that I had him in our corner, and that made all the difference.
Because not only you're freaked out about it, but you have to make some decisions right away. Well, now I can't be too risky in my portfolio now because I can't afford losses, right? So we have to make some changes there. They could be temporary changes, but I have to make some changes to my investment strategy if I don't have a job now, right? So that's an immediate reason why you want to talk to a financial advisor.
Well, I know what a gift that your clients that you work with have you to call in those dire situations.
Yeah, and we're there when the plan doesn't work, okay? When the emergency happens. Anybody can be a successful investor when the markets are going good and things are going great. It's when the stuff is hitting the fan. What do we do now? That's when your plan has to work.
Well, and because you've built that plan, you have the emergency plan built into the plan,
Exactly, and that's part of that complimentary written financial plan that we give all of our clients.
I love that. Well, next up, let's talk about marital status, because obviously that can be a huge life-changing event, whether that's a divorce, it's the loss of a loved one, second marriages. So talk to us a little bit about that.
Right, and that's another reason why you want to reach out to your financial advisor, Kristen, because, we've seen in the last few years a couple of spouses have passed away. Typically, they come in as a couple. We always want them both to come in at the same time because we want everybody to be on the same page so that when the emergency happens or when, unfortunately, death happens, the surviving spouse has to be there in that plan. They have to know about it and what are going to be the next steps. Because a lot of people don't know that when a spouse dies, what happens to the Social Security payment to the surviving spouse? Well, they're going to get the higher of the two Social Security payments. Not a lot of people know that. What's going to happen to the pension that was being paid to them if they have a pension? Did the person pick a joint and survivor payout, or did they pick, single life payout? So that payment's going to go away. The other big thing is taxes.
Yes.
So you're filing jointly in a tax return. The tax brackets are totally different. Now, when you're single, as a widow or divorced, you're filing in a single tax bracket now. Totally different tax rates. So there's huge reasons why. And it's unfortunate as we're dealing with older people that happens. And that's one of the negatives of this business, where we've been seeing a lot of it in the last few years of clients who've passed away. I'm dealing with it right now, actually. I had a client who passed away about a month ago, and the wife, unfortunately, was in the meetings but wasn't really paying attention. And now she's like, what do I do now? I'm like, well, we have the plan, and we're just going to continue moving forward. Here's what we're going to do next. Here's where your income's coming from, because that's the biggest concern. They don't want to know. I don't want to worry about, go to my kids for money. I don't want to, I don't want my kids taking care of me. So what am I going to do? And that's what this plan will address with them.
I think you bring up a really good point, John. It's such a tragedy because not only are you now, say your spouse passes away, not only are you losing that additional income, but now you're being hit with higher taxes. I mean, it's the meanest thing.
It really is. It's a horrible thing, but it's reality and it's life. And again, going back to having a plan is going to address that. And if you're sitting at home there right now and you don't have a plan, you need to get one. And get one as soon as possible, because you don't know when the things are going to happen, when these emergencies happen or unexpected deaths and things like that. I don't want to talk about that, but you have to be prepared for it.
We'll talk to our viewers about that special offer that you do have for them today.
So for the first 10 callers who make an appointment in our office, you're going to get introduced to the Diversified Planning Strategies Report, which is basically a complimentary written financial plan by our team of certified financial planners who are going to create a roadmap for you to get you to a stress-free retirement, which is our ultimate goal. All you have to do is dial 844-534-4452. Call now, get a date in the calendar where one of our team members are there now. Dial 844-534-4452 and get on the path to a stress-free retirement.
John, thank you so much. To our viewers at home, again, that number to call to get your complimentary written plan from John and his team, 844-534-4452. Folks, don't wait. we know that sometimes it can be really difficult and challenging to think about the unexpected that can happen, as we've talked about today, job loss, marital changes. But the reality is you want to have that plan in place so that when that emergency comes, you don't have to panic, you don't have to stress. 844-534-4452. You can also take out your smartphone and scan that QR code in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. That will take you over to a website where you are welcome to schedule your appointment with John and his team as well. We have some more situations you're going to want to pay attention to about why you may need to consult with a financial advisor sooner rather than later, right after this.
How confident are you in your current financial plan? Do you know with certainty how the recent market volatility will affect your future hopes and dreams? How much are you paying in taxes? And how much are you losing to unnecessary high fees? You didn't work to save this money so that you could spend your time worried in retirement. Now is the time to take charge of your finances so you can feel confident about your future. Call in during the next 30 minutes of today's show only to set up an absolutely complimentary, no obligation, full-blown financial review that will result in your own customized written plan that we're giving away complimentary to the first 10 people who respond. We'll start with a full-blown analysis of what you already have by running a report to untangle how much you are currently paying in fees, how you're allocated for risk, and what it's costing to work with your current advisor. Next, we'll identify your goals. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Where do you want to go, and who do you hope to go there with? Is your current financial plan set up to get you there without mishap? Let's design a roadmap to create a financial plan you can follow with confidence. Get the piece that so many people are missing from their retirement. Find out how having a written plan can make a difference to your retirement dreams. Call now to schedule your complimentary, no obligation, full-blown financial review today.
Welcome back to the Papa Report. I'm Kristen Oakley here with President of DPS Advisors, John Papa, and we are talking today about reasons why you may want to go ahead and be consulting with a financial advisor. You know, John, we've been talking about some of the unexpected scenarios that can pop up in life, but let's transition now and talk a little bit about what folks need to be paying attention to within 5 to 10 years of retirement when they're preparing for that next phase of life. Right.
So, Kristen, the first thing that we'll talk to people about who are 5 to 10 years out is now you need to start toning down your aggressiveness in your portfolio. First of all, we need to find out how much aggressiveness are you taking. And then we need to talk about maybe it's time to tone it down because we're getting out of the accumulation mode and going into more protection and preservation because I'm going to need those assets for income. So that's the first thing that we're going to do. Then we're going to talk about, which is a huge topic that we see. If you're not 62 years old or not, when do I turn on Social Security, right? What do we do with that, right? Where do we get answers for that? There used to be strategies and that you can file and suspend, all these different techniques that the Social Security Administration allowed you to do. That all ended in 2017, I believe.
No more.
No more of that. There's no file suspend. It's basically when you turn it on and then it's turned on. So typically what people need to know that you can turn on Social Security at 62, okay? If you wait till full retirement age, depending on what your birthday is, it's 66 or 67. If you wait even further to age 70, there's going to be an 8% increase in that payout for those years, 67 to 70. So a person's got a big decision. There could be hundreds of thousands of dollars of difference between your Social Security payments that you paid into for your whole life by waiting, by delaying. So if you can wait and delay to 70, depending on your health, that's another factor you need to address, you can pick up hundreds of thousands of dollars in your lifetime. So those are pretty big decisions you need to start thinking about as you're building to retirement and preparing for retirement. You don't want to just wake up one day and say, I'm retired, what do I do now? In fact, I'll give you an example. We have a client of ours named Jim who's retiring in May as from the police force. You know, 25 years on the job, you know, worked his whole life, and he's going to retire. But we had a meeting 2 months ago preparing for May when May comes, because it'll be here before you know it, right? So he had some big decisions to make. What am I going to do with my deferred comp plan that I've been paying into that I get as a police officer? What do I do with their version of the 401k?
Right.
Do I leave it there? Do I take it out? Do I invest in my own stuff? And typically we're advising you want to get your monies out when you retire. Get those monies into your own IRA so that we can build an investment plan for you for income and things like that. Now, granted, as a retiring police officer, it's going to get a nice pension. That is a huge benefit for people.
It is. That's so rare today, right?
It's very rare today. When people come into our office and they have that pension, it's a huge weight off their shoulders of where my income's going to come from.
Right.
Then there's a really good chance you can delay Social Security to age 70. But we have to factor in health. You know, Jim's a fairly healthy guy, so he's going to probably live the life expectancy. So we're going to work out strategies to delay taking Social Security. So we work with these clients on an individual basis because there's no cookie cutter strategy. It's depending on the person's situation. That's a reason why you work with a financial advisor. You're not just getting a boilerplate investment plan and one size fits all.
Right, for sure. Well, you know, it's interesting. So we've talked about how pensions are really rare in today's world. So for folks out there who don't have the benefit of having a pension, now they have to figure out how they're going to be generating income for themselves in retirement. And so talk to us a little bit about that, because, you know, a lot of folks are entering retirement and typically have 3 different types of accounts. You might have tax deferred accounts, taxable accounts, and tax-free accounts. How do you go about structuring an income plan for folks and helping them understand which accounts they should withdraw from first and when?
Right. No, that's another great question that we address in our client meetings. And the first question I ask them is, hey, where do you think tax rates are going to go? Okay. I mean, we live in an economy now in a country where we are $31 or $32 trillion in debt, and it's increasing every day. Okay. Where do you think tax rates are going to go? I can tell you what the experts think and what I think. They're going to be way higher in the next 5, 10, 20 years than they are right now. So if you agree with me on that, we're going to talk about where your different account, where your income is going to come from first. I had a lady come into office last week from the show saying, I've been taking money out of my Roth IRA first. And I'm like, why are you doing that? Because we know what the tax rates are right now. And I hate to say taxes are on a discount, but they pretty much are. This has been the lowest tax rate environment we've been in 20, 30 years, okay? These tax rates are set to expire in 2025, right? So my advice is to say, I want to take money out of the tax deferred bucket first. I know what the tax rates are right now. And if taxes are at a discount, I'd rather pay them when they're low and cheap, right? I mean, taxes are never cheap, but the lowest they're going to be. So why would I take from the tax deferred bucket later when I don't even know what the tax rates are going to be later on? So my advice, again, depending on what their situation is, this is not specific to this is specific to the client, but typically it's, let's deplete the tax deferred accounts first because we know what the taxes are now. Let's save the tax-free money for later, and let's use the taxable money in between. So I'm looking at the tax deferred accounts first.
So for most folks, that's the 401k, the 403b, the 457,
IRA,
savings plan,
things like that.
IRA,
I'm saving the Roth IRA, Roth 401k for later. I'm using the brokerage account, the individual accounts, non-tax deferred, in the middle. That's what we're showing clients, and it works great.
Because it's always so sad to me when I hear folks say, you know, I'm so excited, I've got $1 million saved up in my 401k, I'm going to be fine in retirement. You forget about Uncle Sam, right? So
I ask a question just point blank. Hey, so you know you have a partner in that, right? They look at me like, what are you talking about? I go, well, it's the IRS. You're not, every dollar's not coming out of there. And most responses are, well, why didn't anybody ever tell me that? You know, and you know, so we're telling younger people today. You know, we talk. You know, Luke's coming in our office now, and we're working with younger people. Save into a Roth 401k or a Roth IRA. If you have a 401k at work and there's a match, save up to the match as a younger person and build your tax-free bucket. So it doesn't matter what the tax rates are 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now when these young kids are going to retire. Build that tax-free bucket.
Well, gosh, John, so many reasons we've already covered today on why someone should come in and meet with you. So if you're sitting at home and you're going, oh, I really think I need to meet with John, what would you say to that person?
So for the first 10 callers who come and make an appointment in our office, you're going to get introduced to the Diversified Planning Strategies Report, which is basically a free, complimentary, written financial plan that's designed by certified financial planners for you specifically to get you on the path to a stress-free retirement. All you have to do is dial 844 844-534-4452. Get a date on the calendar. Our team's ready to get that date for you to get your stress-free retirement. Just dial 844-534-4452. We'll see you when you come in, and we're looking forward to seeing you.
John, thank you so much. To our viewers at home, again, that number to call to get your complimentary written financial plan from John and his team, all you need to do is pick up the phone and call 844-534-4452. You can also take out your smartphone and scan that QR code in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. That will take you over to a landing page and allow you to set up your appointment that way as well. We have more great information for you here on today's episode of the Papa Report. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
As a good saver, you've been putting away money during your working years. Studies find that the biggest fear of retirees is running out of money. Market volatility isn't just the downward movement of stock prices, it's the size and frequency of change. The more dramatic the ups and downs, the higher the volatility. This can put savers who are newly retired or a few years away from being retired at greater risk. Today's generation of retirees is not receiving traditional pensions as our parents or grandparents did. Instead, we have retirement accounts such as 401ks or 403bs. These accounts typically expose your money to market risk. The last thing you want right before retirement is to lose a portion of the money you need for income. But how do you turn these accounts into a retirement income? Is it safe to keep all your retirement money sitting in the stock market? The last thing you want is to lose a portion of the money you need for income due to market loss. By working with a financial professional, you can learn how to turn a portion of your savings into an income stream for life and income for the life of your spouse if you're married. We all have moments in our lives when we wish we had taken action sooner. Don't let procrastination reign on your retirement parade. Act now before it's too late. Please call our office to set up your no-cost, no-obligation retirement income review today.
Welcome back to the Papa Report. I'm Kristen Oakley here with John Papa, president of DPS Advisors and also author, add that to the title, right? Of Avoiding the Retirement Traps, the 7 mistakes that retirees make with your money, because we want to help you avoid making those same mistakes. So John, before the commercial break, we were talking about taxes in retirement and specifically taxes with things like your 401k, your IRA. So I know this is so important for folks at home to really understand the ramifications of what we're talking about.
Right, because when you saved money in the qualified plan, you got a tax deduction for it, okay? So imagine playing a game where you save money, you get a tax deduction for it, but we're not going to tell you when you have to go access your money later on. We're not going to tell you what the tax rates are going to be, what's the cost to get out of that qualified plan. Well, that's basically what an IRA, 401k, 457, 403b, that's what they are. You're playing a game not knowing what the end results are going to be.
And not knowing what the rules are even in the first place.
They change the rules constantly.
All the time.
All the time. Yep. How much you can contribute, what you can and can't do, and we don't know what the tax rates are going to be later on, right? So I'll give you an example. We had a person calling off the show this last week. I haven't met this person in person yet, but she was telling me, asked her, what prompted you to call in? And she said, well, you sound like you know what you're talking about, and I'm about to take $400,000 out of my IRA and give it to my son who's going to buy a house, and I'm going to hold the mortgage on it. I said, hold on a second. You're going to take $400,000 out? And she said, yeah, I'm going to hold the mortgage. He's going to pay a less interest rate, and I'm going to make like 4% on my money. I'm like, but wait a minute. Did you factor in what the taxes you're going to pay now? I said, you need to tell me a little bit more information. How much money, what's your income right now? And she told me what her income was. I said, now add $400,000 to your income in the year you're going to do this. You're going to be in the highest tax bracket out there, 37%. Federal. You're going to be in the highest bracket in the state of New Jersey for state taxes. You're going to increase your taxes on your premiums on Medicare. You're going to increase taxes on your Social Security payment. That is a huge tax time bomb.
Yes. Taking
large withdrawals out of a qualified plan is probably the worst mistake you can do. And talked to her on the phone for 5 minutes. She called me back a couple of days later. She talked to her accountant or somebody who was an accountant, and she called me back and said, I just want to thank you. Now, we make an appointment because you saved me hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Wow. And to that point, John, I think she was trying to do something nice, right? For her son. Her heart was in the right place.
Right.
But as we've talked about, these rules are always changing. You don't know. And to take that money out, it creates this taxable event, which you said can lead to this giant tax bomb that people don't even realize is happening.
And when she had funds in other positions
that she could have used.
She has money in non-qualified accounts. She has money in Roth IRA. So we just said to her in a quick conversation, I'm looking at your individual account to do that. You're doing a great thing for your son. He is going to pay lower interest rate. You'll get an interest on your money. They're holding the mortgage. That's a great that's great. Interfamily loans, if you have the means to do it, it's a great deal for everybody. But you can't take it out of your IRA. It has to come out of your non-taxable money. And your taxes you pay every year on.
For sure. And so you were able to create a solution for the problem she was facing.
In a 5-second phone call, now she's coming in. She's coming in to meet. So
I love that.
We're looking forward to that. That's why we go to work every day, Kristen, and love what I do. We help people every day. It's so exciting. We're so excited to do what we do.
Well, and to that point, you don't know what you don't know.
No.
And I think about it when you hire a professional. Let's say your toilet breaks at your house or your roof is leaking. I want a professional who is an expert in that field to come and fix that problem for me.
Exactly. And the same thing should go for your finances too, right? So like you just said, so let's say you have to replace the sink in your house. Are you going to do it yourself? There are some people who try to do it.
Right.
Like me. I actually won't even try anymore because I've been yelled at by my wife way too much already.
I've had that conversation with my husband as well.
Yeah, exactly. Don't try. Let's just hire a professional. Let's get a plumber in here and let's fix that. Or, whatever, you're changing the roof on your house, you're going to do that with a contractor. You're going to build an addition to your house. You're going to get an architect to design a plan. That's what a financial planner does, okay? If you're trying to be a do-it-yourselfer in today's world and today's economy, you're going to fail because there are so many different rules and regulations and strategies that you need to map out and get written plans in place so you can make a decision, so you can be educated and empowered to make a better decision with your hard-earned money.
Absolutely.
That's on our whiteboard.
I love that.
Every day we talk about it.
I know, for sure. Well, I know we're wrapping up the show quickly here, but for our viewers at home, what do you want to say to them?
Right, so for the first 10 callers who call in and make an appointment with us, you're going to get an introduction to our Diversified Planning Strategies Report, which is basically a complimentary written financial plan by our team of certified financial planners that's going to build a strategy to build you a stress-free retirement. All you have to do is dial 844-534-4452. Get a date on the calendar with our team. They're ready for the calls and get your path to a stress-free retirement in place. Dial 844-534-4452. We're looking forward to seeing you when you come in the office.
John, thank you so much. Again, to our viewers at home, that number to call is 844-534-4452. Listen, John and his team are experts so that you don't have to be. And while it might be new to you, it's not new to them. Come in, take advantage of their expertise. They look forward to meeting with you. We love you, New Jersey. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.